I met a gypsy.
It is very, very gnarly. Like if you land flat or come up short, or like the last run that I did at Slayground when I went 49 feet and uh, I went for all the marbles. I was like down. I was 3 feet beneath Axel, and and I was like, "Hey, here's the last run." And I went in so fast, and I held it wide, and I hit the lip so hard, and I thought I was crashing on the way up because my foot, like I felt like I was looping out. I got like that buckle feel off the lip,
Yeah, yeah.
and I did that before at Minneapolis, and I grenaded. That clip still circles around like, but I crashed so hard on that one. But this one, I felt the same way in the air, but I was able to like do a BMX, kind of turn my bars Euro and like lean the bike back, and I came in a little crooked and stomped it. But I mean, we were testing suspension and different gearings, different tire pressures. It all like has something to do with how well the bike tracks off the takeoff, and luckily we did a lot of that because before I used to try to go that high and I'd wadded. So yeah, we got it pretty tuned in, and we'll see, dude. Last year I went 40 foot, and that was a record. And the other guys were like 4 feet lower than me the whole time. And then this year, I think like the first run was like 43 feet. Like, so this year everyone was going so much higher. Last year I had more in the tank. I did 40 foot and broke the record my second air of the event, and then no one even got close. So I didn't want to break spokes or blow out my bike for no reason. I kind of waited to see if anyone went higher. No one did.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I trained hard for this, and I had more left in the tank. And everyone's like, you think so? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, I know for sure I did. And then this year, you could tell Hodges was practicing a lot and getting ready. And maybe they had the height meter set up for him a few days earlier than the event, testing it, because he was going huge. Like, I think he trained for like 48 feet, so 8 feet higher than my air
Wow.
the year before. And I was training too, like getting ready, and I did a lot of work for that. And then when I showed up, he went 45, 46, 7, then 8. His last run was 48, and I was stuck at like 45. And so they were kind of like, it looked like they were kind of celebrating a little early. And then last run, I'm like, all right, I got it. Here we go, dude. I'm going to send it as high as I can. And I actually gave it like more, and I hit the thing so hard, and I'm just stoked I pulled it. You can tell I was upside down with my foot off. It looks steezy. It looked like I meant to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I mean, you know what I mean? It looks
yeah.
sick. Like I was upside down with a dog pisser, like holding the leg off with the bars. It looks sweet. I stomped it, and then 49. So yeah, that was gnarly. That was like a big one. And that's 2 years in a row I won in not his hometown, but his home. So it
Yeah.
was sick, dude.
Dude, I
Yeah.
mean, the when they said that X Games was gonna be at Slayground for like, I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
get it. It's COVID. There's no like, you probably can't be at a stadium. Like, but then to go there
Yeah.
again, I was like, these guys are gonna be fucking pissed. Like, at what point is
Yeah.
that like? What? How did we have the
Nah,
competition?
I
I
don't.
get it, but then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'd want to like be going up against that.
Nah, I wasn't really too stoked on it. But it's kind of always been like that. Like the guy that builds their compound and sets their ramps up is the guy that builds X Games. So he's building their setup exactly the same, you know. And I've been practicing back then at Militia on like the most roach landing, like dirt landing. No, like I would go not even as high as I could and come down so hard and just blow out my back, like just like compress, like feel like I compressed my back. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna just go to X Games and give it all I got, you know. And that was back then. And then I ended up framing up my own landing, 32 foot tall wooden landing that I was able to practice on a bunch and get a lot of airs on and stuff. And it would break and stuff, and I'd repair it and fix it. But it got me through 2 or 3 years. COVID was the year I built it, so that didn't really count. But to have it at their yard, I was like, damn, dude, I just don't feel like dealing with like that. You know, like our whole rivalry's been like a super gnarly, like pain in the ass to deal with, because I'm always the like underdog and I don't have like the team that builds the setup, and I'm always trying to come in and beat them, and it seems like I'm just getting wrenches thrown in my way the whole way in. And then when I heard it was at his house, I was like, damn it. And then I was like, oh shit, I could win at his house. Like, all right, let's do it. So I just started grinding and practicing my ass off, and that was like the biggest goal. And I pulled it off, and it was so sick the first year. And then I found out, oh, they're doing it again. And I'm like, dude, again, you know? But I'm like, all right, I could beat him at his own house again, you know? And I'm like, shit, like, what if people wanted to come ride in my yard on my ramp, you know? Like, that's where I train. Like, but, and then he took off doing this, like, couple, or like freestyle or whatever to focus on quarter. And I know he wanted to win. And like I said, he probably had his height meter set up. And man, we just had all kinds of... Axel was really cool, actually, man. Like, we got along. We have, like, a lot of respect for each other, rider to rider, you know? But his team, and I don't really... Now I've got Husqvarna and stuff, and that's my team. But our teams were button heads back in the days, and we kind of got thrown in the middle of it and stuff. And
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, in the beginning, it was kind of like that. I didn't feel a whole lot of respect coming from his whole camp and stuff and him, and I took that as like a, dude, F you, man. Like, I'm busting my ass. You don't even know what I've gone through to get to this position, you know? And I kind of know what you've gone through, dude. You're fucking set up so sick, dude. Like, fuck, dude, your mom makes you breakfast and shit, and I'm fucking sleeping in my van. Like, this is fucking complete opposites here. But to not get the respect right away, it just seemed like and I guess that's whatever, dude. Anyway, all that bullshit in the history, whatever, in the past. Nowadays, it's like I have respect for him. I know what it takes to go that big on a quarter pipe. I know how much work it takes to go that big, and the pressure, and just how gnarly it is to go that big. Like, of course I respect it, because I know what it's like to go that big, you know? So, and
even
he does
if your mom
really
is
cool
making
stuff
you
on his
breakfast,
bike.
and even if you do have all that shit
now
in your
all that
backyard,
shit,
like,
now all that shit doesn't matter. Yeah.
Like, it's still gnarly, like,
Yeah,
to sack
nowadays-
up and go that.
Yeah, so, and I see the stuff he does, and I'm like, you know what? Like, the past is the past. But nowadays, I know it. Like, you're busting your ass out here too, you know. And I think he sees it the same way. And that stuff was like funny or whatever back then. And you know, whatever. I was just with that crew of people back then coming into the game. Like, that was my entry in, and I'm still cool with everybody and all that. But yeah, like. Anyways, so going to his spot this year, he'd been training, I'd been training. I know he wanted to beat me. Why not? Like, of course he wants to beat me, you know. And I just put in that much more work too, and it was close, dude. But yeah, the last run I went 49 feet and stomped it, and yeah, that was a big. That was like probably the coolest one I've ever like won. You know, that one felt the best because it wasn't like the first year, which was also cool, but the second year. And now, hopefully, man, I heard X Games is doing something different. I heard they might be coming back to LA. I hope they are, you know, so we'll see.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.